What's going on, guys? It is Victory Monday, another great episode of the Sick Podcast Rams recap. And boy, we have a lot to get into. Victory Monday, we beat those Buffalo Bills, and I can't wait to dive in with you guys. Sammy, hit the intro.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Rams recap with LaQuan Jones.
They rush forward. Burrow to throw for it. He's hit. He's hit. He's sacked. He throws it away. He flings it away on fourth down. Aaron Donald got there, and you can build that man's statue out SoFi Stadium right now. The greatest of all time on defense does it in the biggest moment of Super Bowl 56.
The sickest Los Angeles Rams podcast. It's gonna be sick.
I got to start the pod off by saying thank you, Sean McVay. Thank you so much for the key to victory against those Buffalo Bills was to run the ball. And that's exactly what we did. We ran the ball 42 times. That's the most we ran the ball in a single game since week 1 of last season against those Seahawks. People, this is what the key to victory is, especially with a matchup like this, what the Buffalo Bills are weak at. They cannot stop the run, no matter who it is back there. If you constantly run the ball on volume on them, they haven't had a team run this much on them since 2021 against the Patriots in the game which they lost. So this is how we need to move accordingly for the rest of the season. We got the 49ers on Thursday. Let's go in, handle business like we know we can. They're broken right now. They may still be going out there slapping around a couple other teams, but they ain't coming out the West slapping us. Because honestly, this performance we had against the Buffalo Bills, I told you guys last week, this will be the difference maker. This will be the game that will set the tone for the rest of the season. These other teams, they don't want to play the Rams. They're all thinking in their heads like, oh man, they put 44 on Josh Allen when he had 6 touchdowns. Whoa, that is nuts. Because I tell you what, Kansas City Chiefs, what they put up, 21 points on the Buffalo Bills? How about the Seahawks? 10 points. 49ers, 10 points as well. Did the Arizona Cardinals put up 40 points against the Buffalo Bills? No, they did not. So I don't want to hear it no more. I don't want to hear anything about this NFC West standings and who can take the division. It's the Rams. We are the most dangerous team out West. We own the West. You have to come through the Rams to even say, oh, well, we have a chance. No, you don't. This team, the way we played against the Buffalo Bills is how we need to play for the rest of the season, going into the playoffs, and we get back to that big dance. Run the ball. Kyren Williams and Blake Corum, the 1-2 punch I talked about on the last episode on Friday. We got a little bit of that. Now, the floor and usage, what I was just projecting was I at least want a Bijan Robinson, a Tyler Algier split between the two. And that's exactly what we saw last week against the Bills, yesterday, I should say. But more so, this combination is what gets the run game going, gets the offense moving forward. There was a lot of opportunities that we should have ran the ball in that Eagles game, but we did not. On 3rd and 4, we shouldn't have been going to Puka Nacua deep on the sideline. Let's just get the first down. And what we displayed was execute in the red zone, execute on 3rd down. That's exactly what we did with Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. You know, he looked good in that 1 3rd down in the red zone that he got. He showed up in that blitz against the Bills, and definitely think, you know, we could have executed better with Puka Nacua getting the ball. But I really feel as though Blake Corum is getting sprinkled in, and this is what's going to help our run game. He busted off a 10-yard plus run where I was like, oh, this is the talent that Blake Corum possesses. Those little flashes that he shows. This is what's going to get him more involved and get him more playing time on the field, and this is how we're going to be able to win the games. Run the ball. We got the 49ers. Thursday Night Football. We got the 49ers. I think we're going to handle business out on the air and on the ground. You can run on this 49ers defense, man. I really believe if we go out there and display what we did against the Bills, man, that is going to be awesome. Now, put a pin in that Buffalo Bills game, because now we need to transition to Thursday night football with the 49ers. Couple key injuries, and there's really only one injury that really brings my concern, and that is with Kobe Durant. Unlikely to play, being with he's dealing with a lung contusion. So what does this mean? Does this mean that we start to see Emmanuel Forbes get sprinkled in? Does this show some type of impact on his likelihood to be out there all game? I don't know. But if we deploy Emmanuel Forbes against the 49ers, I think this would be a good time to do it. And I spoke about a little bit of the qualities that Emmanuel Forbes brings on the previous episode. But the dude has a long wingspan, pause, and is very disruptive in the game. So I really feel as though with his wingspan, his speed, and everything like that, playing off the ball, of course, Dan Quinn and his system, you play a lot of off coverage, and I think that's where he lives and breathes. It didn't work out there. The Rams are middle of the pack when it comes to off coverage. They're not really a team that's going to pressure you a ton. So right there, he found the fit. He's going to be deployed. I'm telling you now, if he's deployed Thursday night football, he's going to make a big play. I can feel it. I came on this podcast last week feeling like, Blake Corum, he's going to start getting involved. And what did we get? We got Blake Corum more involved. So hopefully Sean McVay, a fan of the show, maybe he's listening, who knows? But I think Emmanuel Forbes needs this rep. This is a big game. This is a big game to show that we mean business in the West. I mean, look, we had Bills Mafia come out. Go ahead and get those tables. Go get the tables because we put them right through it with a 3D. We are the real mob. The Mafia met the mob, and we are the mob squad again. We have heavy hitters on this defense, heavy hitters on this offense. Notable names you're going to have to go out there and take account for. And I think for the rest of the season, if we keep this energy, this will be the key to get another ring, people. This is where we need to lock in this week, handle business, because after that, I feel as though the schedule is cake. It's cake after this. Jets, completely washed. They're done. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to have to be a little bit more mobile dealing with Jared Verse and Braden Fisk. Byron Young and Kobe Turner, the conductor, going after him because that O-line still a little iffy, huh? And then look, our secondary might be a little banged up right now, but I really think that we could lock down Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson. This is going to be a tall order ask, but I really think we can contain them to where a lot of that's going to have to deal with their run game as well. If it's Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, Breece Hall, whoever it is, I think that'll be the key to our victory is just to contain the perimeter, get some takeaways, and put a ton of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I know he just put up 300 yards, but look, that ain't the Rams. We're a different breed. We're cut from a different cloth. We're already identifying that we're the most dangerous team when we are fully healthy. We put up 44 points on Josh Allen, who scored 6 freaking touchdowns. So when you look at this, where can we go wrong? What can fall apart? What other way do we not go into this week with the same game plan is to run the ball, take the clock away, keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, keep Brock Purdy off the field. Let's keep running the ball, controlling the time of possession, and just playing at our pace. It's been a very long time since we can play at our pace where we can control the game. I was very surprised. Also, I forgot to mention in that Bills game that special teams showed up. Like, where did that come from? It's been so long since I've seen a Rams block punt. It's been so long since I've seen them return a block punt. This has been in the making, I feel like, with this special team showing up, and especially shout out to Jordan Wellington, making play after play on kick return, making those big returns. And honestly, this is going to be the difference maker for the rest of the season. If he's going to keep getting these returns above 25 yards, this is going to set Matthew Stafford up in beautiful field position a lot of times. And look, shout out to that O-line as well. I know I'm just going down the card, but shout out to the Rams O-line. You have Kevin Dotson, K-Dot out there being so physical in the trenches. You have Rob Havenstein back, the big tall order there that you're going to have to be very physical to get past him. And I understand, we have the rest of the schedule with some teams that have a heavy pass rush. But again, I'm not worried about them because the way this O-line is playing now that we're getting in sync, I believe in this run game. I believe in them protecting Matthew Stafford, keeping a clean sheet, staying off the ground. These are all qualities of a playoff contender team. These are all great things that are happening with this O-line. So Rams fans, please embrace what we're doing right now. Feel happy, feel the joy and less stress. I honestly feel like I was not stressed in that Bills game because it felt The order just felt different going into that game because we already had a game plan, a hopeful game plan to run the ball. But more so, I believed in this O-line to keep Matthew Stafford clean. I believed in Matthew Stafford to not have any turnovers, to make all the great throws that he makes. I mean, look, Puka Nacua with the two-toe tap swag. Oh, my God. That had Tom Brady in a cyclone of like, how does he do this? How does he make this catch? I was in disbelief. Like, even myself, when I see things like this happen with Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, of course he caught that. But this was the one time where I'm like, I don't know if those toes touch. And yes, they touched the ground. He made an amazing catch. You cannot name me a better wide receiver duo in the NFL right now. I know a lot of people are going to have recency bias with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, but you cannot name me a better duo. It's not Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. No. It's not Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. No. It's not Darnell Mooney and Drake London. It's Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. There's really no other duo. You have two guys that are yak kings. You have two guys that are leaving guys socks and ankles and shoes on the ground because they are just crispy route runners. They have a football IQ that you cannot even fathom of where they're leaving these DBs in the cyclone. You have two of the guys you have to worry about, and also a run game that now has a 1-2 punch that you have to keep on your radar. This is why I believe we can honestly make this run in the playoffs. I don't fear the Lions anymore. Bring them back. Run it back. I am not scared of them. That secondary does not scare me. They might have had a ton of takeaways this season, but okay, let's run it back. I want to see the Lions again in the playoffs. I want them because I know damn well they don't want to see us. I know any other team in the NFC don't want to see us. Packers don't want to see us. Lions don't want to see us. And hell, them Seahawks, they definitely don't want to see us, man, because, again, we smacked them up and humbled them already this season. They are suspect. The Cardinals, suspect. Obviously, they are not the team that they were made up to be in the offseason. And, Kyler Murray and Marvin Harris, that is trash. I am not here for it. It's overhyped. There's nothing there, people. There's no fear in my body. Not even this Cardinals defense scares me because, again, they don't have the guys to stop the perimeter. They don't have the guys to stop Puka Nacua making the catches he did against the Bills. They don't have anybody on that defense, okay, Budda Baker maybe, that could take the top off from a red zone Robinson or a Tutu Atwell. I do not believe that anybody in the West can stop us right now. So I need Rams fans to jump back on this wagon, those who jumped off, saying that the season's over, McVay is going to fade the run and all this others. I see the comments, people. I see the comments. If it's not on YouTube, it's on Facebook. If it ain't on Facebook, it's on Twitter. If it ain't on Twitter, it's on Instagram. I see and read all the comments that some of these Rams fans are saying. How could you ever doubt Sean McVay? And McVay we trust always. I never doubted Sean McVay in this game. I never doubted his mind, his decision-making when it comes to some of these crucial plays. 4th and 5. Dear God, why not kick the field goal? Because our kicker is struggling. And look, there's players I want to highlight. Game ball. Let's jump into the game ball. Game ball goes to Tutu Atwell. And here's why. It's 4th and 5. Our season's on the line. We have Puka Nacua. We have Cooper Kupp running their routes. And in a crucial moment, we go to Tutu Atwell, who's been showing up these last 2 seasons when it matters. And that is what's important. You show up when we need you. 4th and 5. The game's on the line with an option to possibly kick it. We go to Tutu Atwell. This is what's going to be the difference maker. We have depth. You know how the Chiefs have all these other guys, no-name guys go out there and make these crucial catches in moments that, only big-time players are dependent on. No, we have guys that can fill in. And Red Zone Robinson did suffer a shoulder injury on that deep ball that he caught. Shout out to him holding on to that and going back in the game. So that is something I want to monitor for the next couple of days. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't suit up Thursday night, but if he did, good. We need him. We need all the guys we need. We need to stay healthy. But if he does not play, I think Tutu Atwell shows up again. And I think Tutu Atwell shows up as a deep threat, as a guy that will show up in crucial moments like he did against the Bills. I think for fantasy-wise, I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit fantasy. It is my podcast or whatever the case may be. And you know I do fantasy at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. But I think Tutu Atwell becomes a fantasy asset during the playoffs as well, because we've seen before that when Matthew Stafford, when he was without Cooper Kupp and basically done with, Puka Nacua dealing with his knee injury, Tutu showed up as that deep threat whenever we needed that third down, that big play. He always went to Tutu Atwell to get the chunk plays, and that's exactly what Tutu Atwell brings to the table. So I honestly think if you're going to be out there in the fantasy playoffs and you need depth at the wide receiver position, Tutu Atwell could be relied on as a boom or bust. But let me get away from fantasy real quick. Back to my Rams. Now, again, I want you guys to understand, like, at the end of the day, I understand sometimes it's hard to be a Rams fan. I understand there's frustrating moments in decision making and game plans and et cetera, but just know that we have such an elite team because we have so many young players that should not be playing the way they're playing. Look at Puka Nacua. Who thought he was going to come in and hit the ground running last season? Who thought he was going to be able to show up and show out those first 5 to 6 weeks with Cooper Kupp dealing with injury and break a ton of rookie records? Nobody saw this. Nobody. Except for you, boy. No, I'm lying. But I did say draft him in fantasy, after the draft, because it's something about Sean McVay. And that's why I want Sean McVay and Les Snead for the next 10, 15 years, for the next 20 years, if we can get it. I know that's not realistic, but at the end of the day, we have the blueprint to be great, and we are going to earn this ring this year. I'm coming on this podcast with this mic in front of you, the lights and camera in action. We are going to the Super Bowl if we continue on playing this way. And I feel confident that we're going to be a huge threat in that playoff run. No team wants to face the LA Rams right now because I really don't think there's a defense out there that scares me at all. And again, this is what makes me so mad about that Eagles game, because we just watched Bryce Young yesterday go out there and almost win the game. If Xavier Legette catches that ball, it's over. It's over. And the one thing that the Rams did not do in that Eagles game was run the ball. And Chuba Hubbard had a ton of carries, over 25. So therefore, that's where we lack, is having the consistency. But if we see the Eagles again, that secondary is going to get cooked. Because I honestly think we could have exposed them, but we shot ourselves in the foot. And the damn O-line, man. We got to get in sync, and that's what's going to be important in the playoffs, because there's some heavy pass rush teams out there that we need to buckle down and lock in and be able to stop. Our O-line is playing so good right now collectively. I think there is no point of like individually pointing guys out that need to do better, but collectively we are doing great as an O-line, keeping Matthew Stafford upright. So for this Thursday night football, keys to victory, real quick. Key to victory, obviously run the ball. Another key to victory, don't get caught ball watching. Jawan Jennings is a real threat. He is technically the wide receiver 1 for the 49ers. And I know he can get light, he can get hot, and with Kobe Durant dealing with injury, we will need some experience on him. So hopefully Quentin Lake can take care of him, or maybe Emmanuel Forbes, he gets into the game. Darius Williams, I do want to speak on that. That's in my notes, actually. And I told you I won't be coming on this platform singling guys out, but this is a situation we need to address. Darius Williams has not played at the standard that we thought we were getting a couple years back, where he was just lighting it up. When he walked, I was very upset. I was like, man, that's a corner, that's a playmaker that we need, and we need corners. But we had Jalen Ramsey. So, okay, cool. But now there's certain things that are happening in that secondary. And honestly, some of these big plays are happening on him, and I don't know what's happening. And I honestly think that's why we went out and got Emmanuel Forbes. That's why I think his impact will be felt this Thursday night if he does play, because it's crucial. That's where we don't want to get, because God forbid, anybody else gets injured in that secondary, we might be in trouble. We might be in trouble because we need the depth at the DB position experience. A bunch of young guys flying around the defense is cool and all, but they're not disciplined and they're getting big plays that matter put up on them. That's what's going to hurt us. But Darius Williams, man, he's been on the low right now. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe he's injured. I don't know, because he is returning from injury, earlier in the season. But at the end of the day, we need to lock in when it comes to a DB position, because like guys like Jawan Jennings, guys like George Kittle, man, they can get loose. Like shout out to Cam Kitchens and Cam Curl as well, man. That secondary, the safeties, oh my God, they are beautiful, man, making such big plays. The one that Cam Kitchens made in that secondary in that last game was amazing. So I have confidence in our secondary, but our DBs, a little iffy, man. But honestly, that's all I got for you guys. I mean, look, I won't be back until Friday after the Thursday night football game, where I'll be doing the reaction, doing the recap. Hopefully I can get a guest. And I have a guest in mind to have to come on the podcast to get their reaction to the game. And maybe, Marcus will be nice enough to come on and grace me with his presence on the Rams recap and give his thoughts, because he is a 49ers fan. So hopefully I can get a good reaction out of him when the Rams actually win and stomp his 49ers down to the bottom of the table of that NFC West division. So this wraps up another great episode of the Sick Podcast Rams recap. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and share it out, man. I need more folks to come in here to hear me rant about my Rams, a crazy fan from New Jersey that is just as passionate as a Rams fan on the West Coast. So please make sure you guys like and subscribe and share the YouTube channel as well. And again, I'll see you guys Friday after the Thursday night football game to react and recap to the Rams versus 49ers game. And I'll see you guys then. Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rams Recap with LaQuan Jones on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.